Are you a Jambite? Then come closer. Let me ask you a very, very important question. What if you've been studying ANIS? What if you've been studying the wrong topics that Jamb will never set? This is why I keep emphasizing on the need for every candidate to have an in-depth knowledge of the syllabus for Jamb examination. If you don't want to miss out on many videos concerning Jamb examination, subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't suck. Now for Jamb biology, I'm going to be exposing you to the various topics that Jamb sets every year. Now, it doesn't pass these 5 core aspects. It doesn't. The first is variety of organisms. The second is forms and functions. The third is ecology. The fourth is heredity and variation. And fifth is evolution. So Jamb develops their questions around these 5 key aspects. Now I'm going to give you the detailed syllabus and give you the recommended text for this Jamb examination. Now before we dive into that, I'm going to give you the objectives for Jamb biology examination. What does Jamb seek to test in each candidate? Number 1, the ability to demonstrate sufficient knowledge of the concepts of the diversity, interdependence, and unity of life. And that is exactly what this variety of organism is talking about. And secondly, the ability to account for continuity of life through reorganization, inheritance, and evolution. Then number 3, the ability to apply biological principles and concepts to everyday life, especially to matters affecting living things, individuals, society, the family, the environment, community health, and the economy in general. Now let's develop this. So under variety of living things, there are a number of topics that Jamb will ask you. And first is living things. Jamb is going to ask you what are living things, what are the characteristics of living things. Okay, that's where your Mr. Niger Dark comes in. So you must know all those things. So Jamb is also going to ask you the cell structure, the functions of the cell components. So you must know the difference between plant cells and animal cells. Okay, you must know the functions of the cell components, those in the cytoplasm like the mitochondria, the Golgi bodies, and the rest. Then after that, you must master your levels of organization, your cell, your tissues, your organ, your systems. You must know these things very well. And there's a type of question that Jamb asks. They will be like, the heart is at which level of organization? The answer is what? Let me know in the comment section. Now the next topic that Jamb will ask is evolution. Okay, evolution among the Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and Animalia. All right, so they are going to be, this is actually classification, what you call classification, okay, or taxonomy. All right, yeah, so it's going to be testing your knowledge of even the phyla that are under this. For example, under animals, it's be testing of the vertebrates and the invertebrates, and how evolution occurred from aquatic habitat to the arboreal habitat. All right, so after that, the next thing Jamb will be testing is your knowledge of the structural and functional and behavioral adaptation of organisms. When I mean structural, and their body, their morphology, how they are built, what are the features on their body, the things that you can see that helps them to adapt to their environment. Now functional, how does their body function? For example, some organisms undergo hibernation and estivation, like functional, like the physiological coding of these organisms. Then we have behavioral adaptation. How do they adapt behaviorally, both in aspects of reproduction, in aspects of competition, and the rest? Okay, that'll be all for variety of organisms. Now next is forms and functions. Okay, this is actually like the main physiology, how these living organisms function. First of all, they'll be testing you on transport system, which is circulation. Okay, about the heart, the vessels, even the transport system of lower organisms and the rest. Next, you'll be asked questions on the respiration, both the respiratory surfaces of different organisms and how respiration occurs even in human beings. Okay, so first of all, they're going to ask you questions on lower organisms, on in plants, then in animals, then also in man, because man is like maybe the major and most profound and easiest to study subject in biology. Now next is excretion. Okay, how are metabolic waste removed from the body of living things? You'll be asked questions on this. Then support and movement. Jamb does not miss this, especially movement in plants, this nastic movement, this hydrotropic demotrophic, all of them, Jamb is going to ask you. So better get prepared. Even the vertebrae in the skeleton, all those, Jamb is going to ask you. Then next, reproduction, very, very, very important. Aspects like pollination, sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction, don't leave that out, okay? So make sure you study. Reproduction is one of the biggest topics in biology, so make sure you master them very, very well. Then next, Jamb is going to ask you on growth, all right? Growth, especially the growth areas or regions in plants, okay? Even the growth hormones, they are going to ask you. Then questions on coordination and control. You have two types of coordination. You have the hormonal coordination and we have the nervous coordination, okay? So questions arising from central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. You'll be seeing questions from this a lot. Questions on cerebrum, all these confusing terms, medulla oblongata. Jamb is going to ask you. After nervous coordination, another aspect that Jamb will be testing is your knowledge of ecology. And ecology is basically the relationship between living organisms and their environment. Living organisms, from microorganisms to plants to animals and their environment. So topics under here include factors affecting the distribution of organisms, both abiotic and biotic factors, symbiotic interaction of plants and animals, okay? They have relationships, commensalism, parasitism, and the rest. Then we also talk about the energy flow of nutrients in the ecosystem. For example, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, okay? You should be able to interpret their diagrams and the meaning of each phase. Okay, so the next thing is natural habitats. You must be able to distinguish between aquatic habitat, terrestrial habitat, and arboreal habitat. Then the next one is you must know your local, that is your Nigerian biomes. You must know the rainforest, you must know the savanna and all those. Then ecology of population, must know the principle of succession in an environment. So the next topic under here is soil. You must know the types of soil, okay? The sandy soil, the loamy soil, the humus, and all those, okay? You must know the components of the soil fertility, and all those. Then next, you must know humans and environment, both the diseases, the pests, and activities of human beings, agriculture, fishing, pollution, and all those. Then variation in population. Whenever you see this variation, we're talking about heredity and variation. So that is the fourth aspects, okay? The fourth aspect, heredity and variation. So this talks about the transfer of traits and qualities from one generation to another. And variation is now the differences between species of organisms, all right? So we'll talk about the morphological variation, the physiological variation. You must know the examples of each of these, okay? Then you must know the fingerprint, the types. Of course, they can draw a certain fingerprint to identify which type of fingerprint it is. Then next, you must know your heredity, that is your genetics, okay? You must know crossing. You must know how to interpret genetical sentences into diagrams. If they tell you that this is a homologous chromosome, how do you draw it, okay? So you must know all these things. They are very, very, very vital to your success, all right? Then lastly, under evolution, you must have the knowledge of theory of evolution, both the Lamarck's theory, the Charles Darwin's theory, the organic theory, all right? Then you must know the evidences of evolutions in anatomy, that's comparative anatomy, physiology, and embryology, forces record, okay? So you must know all these things. And when you have these 5 aspects at your fingertips with the detailed content under them, trust me, you'll be scoring nothing less than 95 plus in your Jamb biology. Tell them that Sabot said so. See you in the next video.